It is time to do the film breakdown from 49ers versus Bucs. Obviously, we just had some big news with Diamador Lenore getting paid. You absolutely love that, but we've already discussed that. So we are going to go straight into talking about this game, talking about the tape. Dominic Puni, Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings, George Kittle. Oh boy, we got some good stuff to take a look at. Again, it wasn't all pretty. It was definitely a gritty game, a lot of adversity, a lot of things to overcome. San Francisco 49ers somehow come out with a win. I don't even know if they got 80 yards rushing in this one. So we're going to talk about it all, and we're going to break it down all right after this. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. All right, make sure you smash that like button, drop an SDS in the chat. Let's break down the film. Let's get right into it, shall we? One of the cool things about this game, there's a lot of storylines to come out of it. A lot of different things to come out of this one, including the return of Christian McCaffrey. And boy, was it good to see. And I don't care if it was predictable or not. The San Francisco 49ers gave him the ball right out the gate and absolutely loved to see it. So let's take a look. We're going to get so I don't know the exact name. I believe this is the Zorro concept where you get George Kittle pulling across the formation almost as a lead blocker. And so we saw this become super prevalent with the San Francisco 49ers in 2021 when Debo Samuel was the wide back. And it's basically you get Kittle as a head start as a blocker, and then you get a double action to the outside, and then he typically turns upfield. But you're going to get Christian McCaffrey turn this one up for a decent gain. Now, I want to highlight Dominic Poney on the very first play of the game, number 77. Man, he is playing like it might sound like hyperbole, and it might sound like a little bit, you're just hyping him up, Brad. You're just hyping him up, blah, blah, blah. Dude, he's playing unbelievable. And this play I absolutely love because he's not only going to help Colton McKivitz here be able to reach block Vita Vea, but he's also going to get on his angle and he's going to be able to cut off the backside linebacker, Levante David, who is one of the best linebackers in the league. So let's run it and then we'll take it back. Watch the punch on his angle, and he attacks that upfield outside shoulder, and it is a thing of beauty. Like when you talk about textbook, do you see how effective this punch is on one of the best interior defensive tackles in the league? Do you see how Colton McKivitz is now able to get his head around and to be in the position to get that block? That is a huge help. And then he's able to stay on his track. He even steps on, I think that's Banks, and still is able to get Levant. Like, this is beautiful, man. Like, these are the small, intricate little details that you really love to see from a guy like Dominic Puni. And it's pretty indicative of the start of, or basically this film, because Dominic was balling. I think this was probably, I'm thinking about it. I'm running through it in my head really quickly. I think this might have been the best singular offensive line performance from anyone this season, and that includes Trent Williams. He really was playing that well. Like, he was absolutely all over it. And so we're going to take a look at a bunch of different examples that kind of showcase how he is becoming I don't know how else to say it. He looks like an all-pro offensive lineman, and it is absolutely insane. But we got other things to talk about too, like Brock Purdy doing Brock Purdy things. Hey, I love it. You get a little bit of pressure. Colton McKivitz doing his best to stay engaged. Brock feels it, and he sees the Red Sea part, and he goes and he takes the yards that are given to him. One of the greater developments of Brock Purdy this season is his willingness to take off and run. I absolutely love it, and he is absolutely putting himself into a higher tier of quarterback play just by using his legs. We already know he's super good at processing. We already know he's good at anticipation, all of those things. Um, Tommy wants to see him slide, though. He said, "Oh yeah, we like all those things, but we want to see him slide a little bit more," which I think is fair. He definitely pushes it to the limit. Um, but uh, yeah, I do agree. I do agree. I want to see him get down a little bit sooner. Um, but it is what it is, man. That we'll say that, and no, I'm not even going to say that. We're moving on. We're moving on. Hopefully, he slides a little bit more. But here you go. You're going to get a Debo Samuel end around. You got Christian McCaffrey, lead blocker out there. This one was close to being a pretty big hitter. And I think we also got is this a Ricky Pearsall pancake on Levante David? I don't know. I'll let you be the judge. We got multiple things to look at on this specific play, but watch Ricky Pearsall with the crack, and then he gets David turn. Now, there's a little bit of pushing and shoving going on here, but all I see is Levante David end up on his back, and Ricky Pearsall engaged the entire time. So I love that effort right there. Let's take a look at some of the other efforts. I like, man, what I want to see from Debo is I want to see Debo stick on this out. Let's take a little bit different angle. I want to see Debo in this hip pocket right here on Christian McCaffrey. I want to see Debo pull the defender into Christian and then bounce to the outside. There is so much green over here that if he just kind of dropped it into a lower gear, hugged right up into this hip pocket of CMC and cut that way, I mean, CMC was already on the angle to be able to potentially get that. There's no one out here. There's no one out here. And they want Debo to go back into the defense. So I see what he's seeing. There is a natural cutback lane right here, except for the fact that you have this defender running free. So that's going to, potentially negate that angle. But because the way he isn't able to set up his block, he actually gets himself tackled as a result. So very close to being a big hitter. My critique of Debo here's ride this outside hip pocket, bring the defender to your blocker, and then make your cut. Instead, he's a little bit too soon, and he gets himself tackled. But that's fine. Still a decent gain. This one, let's look at Dominic Puni on this specific play. I believe we're looking at Dominic versus Vita Vea. Now, Vita's able to make his way all the way to Debo, but this is a great battle. Look at how quickly he gets out of his stance. This is what we're looking for on reach blocks, to be able to get your head on that outside shoulder. That is a thing of beauty right there. that is the run fit that you are looking for as an offensive lineman trying to reach block an inside shade. That's money. And you can see he's trying to not get tackled, so he doesn't have his base really, or he's not trying to get tripped, I should say. But to be able to stay engaged, to this is good. This is very good. Even though you can see that Vita ultimately gets to Debo, Dom did what he needed to do here. And considering he is going up against one of the best interior defensive tackles in the league, I'll take that any day of the week from Dominic Puni. And again, man, he's just balling, dude. He's balling. So there's a couple good things on this play, but I do think it could have been a little bit of a bigger play. Now, this play to me showcases why it's so good to have Christian McCaffrey back as a pass blocker, man. When we get to the different angle, you're going to see what I'm talking about. And because of Christian McCaffrey's block, this actually allows Brock Purdy to get out and escape. So watch the pickup by CMC and watch him drive the defender into the mud, and then the defender's completely lost. And that is what allows Brock Purdy to get out and use his legs. Again, I've talked about it for years now of how good of a blocker Christian McCaffrey is, how he doesn't get enough credit for it. Look, dude, he took three out of commission. Number 3's like, oh, we're one-on-one with CMC. He drives him into the pile and 3 disappears. And then that allows Brock to get out and escape. So such an underrated element of Christian McCaffrey's game is his ability to block. And watching this tape instantly reminded of like, damn, I forgot. I didn't forget, but it was just a boom, instant reminder of like, yeah, he's different. We look at CMC from a running and pass catching perspective, but man, as a pass blocker, I don't know if there's really anyone else I'd want back there than CMC. Now, I will say this of Brock Purdy. Definitely wasn't his most clean game in the first half. I would say there was probably a handful of throws that he would want to have back, like this one. You put just a little bit more air. It's a hard throw. I mean, completely hard throw, throwing across your body over a defender on the run. Just a little bit more air under it, a little bit more, little boop, drop, a little bit more of a drop in the bucket. You get that one. But there was a couple throws that Purdy definitely was off with some timing, off with some touch. So what we're going to see is we're going to see how he was able to get back on track as the game progressed. And I think that's something that we've kind of seen for a while with Brock. And this is exactly what we're talking about. This is the very next play. You can see him trying to go to Pearsall. This could be a timing issue. This could just be accuracy on this particular throw, but they don't connect. And there were a couple of these throughout the first half, but like I keep mentioning, he was able to get it back on track. And again, I don't know if that's, Pearsall kind of slowing up on the route. I don't know. It just looks like a timing issue, but there's some of those things that were popping up. But this, one of my favorite reps from Dominic Puni from this particular film. So one of the trends that we identified in the preseason was Dominic blocks 2. And so you're going to see Cansey, he's going to crash down to try to pull Puni with him. And you're going to see Puni stay engaged with Cansey and then they're going to blitz Levante David right off his hip. And Puni catches David and he blocks both of them. You're going to see Cansey, he sheds Brendle right away. Brendle is like, he lost the rep right here. And because Puni is still engaged, Puni is literally blocking 2 players right now. 2. That's crazy. And he does this all the time. He does this all the time. And it's a phenomenal job. Someone asked who's doing the worst right now on the O-line. I think there's a couple things. I think Banks has been struggling in their run game. I think when you look at a lot of the rushing miscues, Banks is a part of that. I think Banks is really having has unfortunately taken a step back this season. I think Banks still does a pretty darn good job in pass protection for the most part. But he tends to take poor angles. He really, I don't know. I don't like the very first play. If you go back and watch the first play, it looked like he ran the wrong play. I don't know what angle he was taking, but he completely whiffed. And remember when Puni stepped on him? Puni shouldn't have stepped on him because he shouldn't have been there. So I would say Banks struggling right now in the run game. Brendle is having some struggles in pass protection. Like this, like he'll get swam like this, hit with the swim move. He got hit with it a couple times in this game. So I think I would love to see Brendle and Banks take their game up a little bit more. I think McKivitz is McKivitz. I think it's a hard spot to be a tackle because you're on an island, but McKivitz continues to perform at what he's getting paid. He's like the 34th highest paid tackle in the league. He's outperforming that. But I know fans want to see higher than. So McKivitz is always a difficult eval because if you're taking into account how much he's getting paid, he's playing above what he's being paid. But I know fans are very critical of it because they want to see a little bit higher of type of play from McKivitz. So, which I don't necessarily disagree with. Colton's Colton. I say it all the time. You got to be prepared for 2 to 3 pressures, probably maybe a sack a game. But other than that, he's going to be decently solid in the run game. He's going to hold up for the most part in the passing game. And considering how he's playing above what he's getting paid. So that would be considered a value based on that type of evaluation. But I understand that fans want to see him just play a little bit better, which I think he can. I think he can. Was this a holding, I think? But anyways, let's get into some more stuff. What are we at? We're at 5. Oh, I thought this was a phenomenal block by Christian McCaffrey. Again, we talked about this as well. I thought this was a really good block by CMC. Like, he stays in front of 3. Like, he keeps himself in front of 3 and in between Brock. Now, Brock obviously pulls the ball down, and you can see that the sack comes from number 96. We talked about the swim on Brendle. Brendle just really is struggling with the swim move. You can see right here, swims them and gets the sack. I do feel like this is a great block by Christian and everyone else, but because Brock's initial read isn't open where he wants to go with the football, I think he wants Jawan here. As you can see, there's really limited options. You have what looks like Pearsall and a clear out, and you have they love this concept. I know Johnny talks about this concept all the time. He was the one to kind of put me onto it, but it looks like he wants Jawan, and because you have those 3 defenders, he's like, I don't want that. And so he's just got to try to bail and get out, and unfortunately turns into a sack. So, hey, you win some, you lose some. It's not one that they won on that particular one. Everything was pretty much covered up. And, when your first read isn't there, it can be challenging because you really just don't have time in the NFL. Let's see, where am I at? I have CMC Texas. This is either a Texas or a choice route. Oh, what I liked about this one, let's start with the offensive line. So, one of the ways that I judge cerebral ability of offensive linemen is how they pass off stunts. So, watch Colton and watch Puni. This is how they've been playing well together this season, is you're going to see them pass off this stunt. 43 is going to come crashing inside. McKivitz is just going to pass him off to Puni. Puni picks him up. 51 is going to come on a blitz, and McKivitz picks him up. And that's exactly the way you coach it up. That's exactly what you want. Bang, bang. Brock's got the time, and we hit Christian, the little Texas or choice route, get some positive yardage. We'll take that every day of the week. Good pass blocking all the way around from the whole offensive line. Purdy's got time. We hit CMC. We like that. We like that. So this pass originally looked like it was behind Pearsall. I kind of think this ball was tipped. I don't know for a fact because it was so dang close. But I think this pass was close to being tipped. And you'll kind of see what I'm talking about here. So you're going to see Vita. He's going to get his hands up. Do you see this curve on the ball? Okay, look at the ball coming out straight. See that right there? And it almost like, you see that? You see the curve? Like, look, the fact that Brock is standing right down the hash and you see how it curved. I don't know. Am I tripping? Do you see that? Because I think what I'm anticipating here is that this might have been just hit enough. Just barely. But enough is enough to kind of affect the trajectory a little bit. And you can see it from the other angle here too. Like, it's so close, but look at the way the ball changes trajectory. Do you see how the nose goes like it's weird. It like goes back. So you know how there's a spin and you just graze it, but you graze it and it kind of pushed the ball tilt back, and so it almost turned it into a curveball. That's kind of what it looks like, because originally I was like, that pass is not typically where Brock throws these. But then I was like, wait, that ball trajectory looks super weird. And then you see, so I don't know. It could, we don't know. It's not definitive enough. It's super close, but the ball does, it feels like it angles, and that could be aided by a tip. Nonetheless, you want to get that one because he was open. And I mean, you look at the route by Pearsall against McCollum, bro, what a great route. That little stutter at the top of his route, that gets the separation. So anyone I just don't see the concerns with Ricky Pearsall beating man coverage. I don't know why that was such a talking point this offseason when we drafted him. Because when I saw his route running ability, I was like, man, this guy looks like he's built to beat man coverage. And he did a great job right there creating separation in a vacuum. Just ball wasn't in the right spot. So that was just an observation I had. Again, no definitive. No, I don't know if it was tipped or not. It just looked weird. Uh, it looked weird. It didn't. It just looked weird. I don't know. CMC Stiffy, get off me, pal. So my take, and I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. I don't think Christian McCaffrey looked all the way back. I think he looked like 85, maybe 90% back. This is a beautiful stiffy. Pause. But I do think that I think there's some more to CMC, that once he gets his legs under him, and once he's able to, get a couple weeks of consecutive practices and get his football, you know, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Conditioning up to point. I still think there's more for CMC from an explosive standpoint. Um, but that stiff arm was beautiful. I will say that. Love seeing that. Great job by Brock too. Again, play action naked boot. He's got to kind of sidearm this thing a little bit. Gets it right to CMC. So I still think there's more in the tank for Mr. McCaffrey. All right, let's get to Ricky Pearsall's first career touchdown. This is a great throw, first of all. And then yards, the yak on this one by Ricky, phenomenal. Fantastic. What a dart. See, this is what makes me thinks it was tipped. Do you see how the nose is going straight at the target? And remember, see how the nose is actually angling towards Pearsall, where the other throw was angling away. That's what makes me feel like it got tipped. But nonetheless, very similar throw, and he puts it right on the money. And Ricky Pearsall is able to turn up field, hit a little hezzy. Yeah. Hey, that's Antoine Winfield, man. That's one of the best defenders in the league. That easily could have been a tackle at about the 10. But nope. Gets it across the line. Beautiful. Beautiful, man. Again, I never understood the way he was evaluated coming out of college by some, because it seemed like he did have everything. Now, I didn't see that in him until I turned on the tape and, actually studied him. Uh, but it's nice. Let's take a look at another rookie, shall we? Dominic Puni. Trend alert. Trend alert, baby. Number 90 is going to come crashing in. Puni just has, this is the number one hallmark of someone who has played a lot of football, especially on the offensive line. He's pushing this guy into Brendle. So he's instantly keying that I got help to the inside. So that means because I got help and I'm pushing 90 into Brendle, his internal alert system goes ding, 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 look to your right. And so he gets here, looks to his right, and he's already made the decision. I'm going to go come back and look for work. And then boom, helps McKivitz with his guy. There's a little bit of a weird, route thing happening where Salbert goes in between the defender and McKivitz's guy and kind of opens up the inside. And then Pony is blocking 2. One hand on 90, one hand on 9. Pony is blocking 2. If you guys didn't know by now, Pony's really good. Pony is really freaking good. It kind of boggles my mind a little bit. Look at this. Ride 90 out, head back, bang. Dude, like clockwork, consistently doing this. Dude, he's so good. I had so much fun watching Dominic Puni on this film. You can make the argument he had one of the best days of any 49ers offensive player. That's how well he played. This one by Banks I liked. Look at Banks with the snatch. Cansey's going to shoot inside, puts Banks in a great position, and then you get Banks with the snatch. I want more of this from Banks. Banks, you do this. You keep doing this stuff, we'll be all right. I love the aggressive nature of it, to not just be like, oh, I got him, because at this point he's won right here. But he says, nope, you're coming to the ground. I love that by Banks. I love that. Keep doing that, Banks. Keep doing that, Banksy. And if you also take a look at Puni, another good job here. Great job by Brendle. Little help. Puni then picks it up. That's a win right there. That's a win. That's a win. Unfortunately, Brendle does not win, and that actually blows up the entire play. The first part was good initially. He tries to cut off this angle. David's a little too fast and just beats him to the spot. And so that, unfortunately, so if we try to pause it here, if you get this blocked, that allows for George to go here and for Juice to go here. And then ideally, he's out of the play. He's out of the play. Juice is kicking out. CMC is hitting this hole. And then he's potentially one-on-one with the safety and could potentially be going all the way. So that kind of gives you a sense of how close the margins of error are, because Juice isn't blocking David if we can get that cut off. Juice is blocking here. That's the guy who ultimately makes the tackle. And so you can see that there. I think this is going to give us our circus catch. George Kittle's the best tight end in the league. I don't want to hear anything else. I don't want to hear nothing. Kittle is hands down best tight end in the league. I don't want to hear it. Go argue with the wall if you disagree. I mean, whew. Look at the hands. Like, that window is so tight. And you also have a free rusher. So, what have we talked about in the past? So I can't really tell if they're even sliding protection here. It all just kind of looks like big on big, essentially. I mean, you get these guys fanning out right. These guys go left. McKivitz comes in because based on their rules, McKivitz is saying this is the inside threat. So, which is why he goes inside, which I think he's correct on. But we got some kind of miscommunication where you get, again, one true free rusher. But if 31 doesn't run into McKivitz, it's again another situation where you have two free rushers. So it's that overload look that we get. You can see both McKivitz and Puni are kind of stepping inside, but because of that, you got these two. So I wish I had the answer to why this kind of continually happens. But credit to Brock. You can see he feels it. He senses it right away, steps up into the pocket. That allows him to get the ball off, because if he stays right at this depth, you can see that where he's letting the ball go right here, that his foot would have been about here, which is right where the hand is. So if Brock doesn't move, he's probably getting hit, and this isn't a completion. So you got to tip your cap to the pocket awareness and getting that thing out in a hurry, because he knew he was getting hit. And why wasn't this a penalty? You can't do that to quarterbacks. You can't even breathe on quarterbacks without getting a roughing the passer. That should have been roughing based on the rules. Now, if we're going by what I consider normal football, that I think this is fine. But based on the way the refs call these ticky-tack roughing calls, that's 100% a roughing call. You can't touch him like that. That ball's gone, pal. You can't extend. That's a flag. Again, not by my standards, by the NFL standards. I don't have a problem with that, honestly. To me, that's football, but by the NFL standards and how they've been calling it, that should be a flag for sure. This is going to be another really good rep by Dominic Puni. Watch Puni one on one with Hall, just dances with them, easy 4-man rush, nice and easy for everyone up front. Hey, Colton McKivitz, this is a good Yaya Diaby is a good player in my opinion. Look at that hold inside the pads. Great job by McKivitz. Great job by Puni. These two take care of Vita, and Trent gets Cansey. And that allows Brock to just find Christian on a nice little pitch and catch on the under. I like that. I like that for sure. For show, for show. What do we got here? So we got another kind of a bust. So because Banks can't get off Vita, Banks needs to be cutting off David. He doesn't get there. David shoots the gap, creates contact with Juice. That's not supposed to be his guy. I mean, you can see you've got bodies, but if you can get Banks to the second level, if Banks is getting up to here and you can at least just keep Brendle in between the running back, you might be able to pop that, but it doesn't work. That's all right. Happens. I think it's important to note too when we're watching plays like this happens to everyone all the time. Like the best offensive linemen are going to lose, so I want to make that abundantly clear. I know a lot of people are want to see improvement, but stuff like that happens. I don't think that particularly was anything crazy or out of the normal. Vita grabbed him and he wasn't able to get on his angle. It happens. It happens. Not terribly concerned about that. Just want to see Banks make it an like a real like we got to get off this. We can't get caught up here. Nice pass to Jawan. 4 up front. You get Dominic Puni one on one with Vita. You're gonna get Brendle give a little shove, but then he peels off. Puni's able to anchor, and then you're able to hit Jawan Jennings. This one, wait, was this it? Oh no, this is where I got my numbers mixed up. So watch Puni on this one. See, when we talk about angles, this is what we want. See the punch. Now, obviously, Puni's in a better position because you have Cansey. He's more in the gap where you can see this is essentially head up, so it's a little bit harder. You can see he's a little bit shifted over, so it makes that harder. But when you watch Puni give the punch and cut that off, that's what we're talking about. That's as an offensive lineman, like this makes me happy. Obviously, the play doesn't result into a big gain or anything, but watching Puni move like that, yes, more of that. More of that, please. All right. Let's see. What's this one? 21-15. I've been taking my time a little bit, so I'm gonna try to speed up. Taking my time. Nice throw here by Brock. Nice. So we get cornerback blitz here. Puni's he seems alert that there could be something coming on the backside. He gets just enough to allow Brock to get that off. Jawan Jennings, almost impossible to tackle. Watch this pass off here. Beautiful. Looks easy, but it's more challenging than it looks. Puni's not at all fooled by the stunt. He's right there to pick up 43, trying to loop around. This is easy money. This is where McKivitz and Puni work really well together, being able to pass off stunts like this. Neither of them bit. They saw it coming. They picked it up. We like that. This I don't know what this was. Obviously, you can see Vita is right in the face of Brock. It doesn't look like Brock can fully so his looks like his elbow gets hit right here before he's able to like fully follow through. And so that's probably why the ball goes a little high, because he's not able to complete the full motion of his throwing motion. But yeah. What? Brendle does get overpowered right here. And that might be part of the reason why the pass was high. Let's see, 24-27. Man, I don't know how Jawan escaping out of this, beautiful. Don't know how he did it. But Jawan's looking a little slippery. Also, you got Dominic Puni one-on-one with Vita Vea. He's not getting pushed back. You see how Puni kind of steps at Vita. It is a quick hitter, which you are coached to do sometimes. You kind of take the punch to the defensive tackle, but look at him stay in phase right here. Nice and easy. And then Jawan just gets loose. But Puni's having a hell of a game, man. We get a sack here. or something, whatever this was. But Puni's one-on-one again, and Cansey is not getting by him. Purdy almost got that off to CMC. But again, man, Puni's playing so freaking well. Let's get let's get a play that reminds us of the good old days. We're going to get Trent Williams signature backside move with a Christian McCaffrey solid run. My notes are apparently There we go. Watch Trent. Easy. Christian McCaffrey presses to the right and then cuts back perfectly. You love it. Reminds me of the good old days. Trent just absolutely abusing guys, and then Christian McCaffrey making really nice cuts and reads. We watched the quick hitter to Debo. So I don't know if this is a RPO, run pass option, where he reads pass, because it's definitely set up to be a pitch and everyone's blocking that way. And then Purdy pulls it and throws a little dart to Debo. So this looks like an RPO to me. So it looks like based on what he saw pre-snap, he's like, I'm going to throw this. This play for Dominic Puni, he's actually going to get a little off balance, but he recovers. And because he recovers, it actually helps Brock to get out and escape. So if you watch right here, Cansey's going to get a nice little push on him, but he's able to stay in phase and then ultimately stop the rush. I mean, that's hard to do, man. When you're on skates like this, like when the defensive tackle gets you in this position where you're just trying not to fall on your butt, to then be able to anchor that and stop the rush, that is very hard. And not only does he do that and stop Cansey, but because he does that, it allows Purdy to escape. So that's huge. We talk about it all the time. You're not going to win the rep initially as an offensive lineman. Sometimes you're going to lose it. He lost initially. This is a loss until he won. And that's right here where he wins. So right here, oh yeah, he lost the rep. You see how high he is. You see how he's on his heels. He lost. But right here, he won. And that's what you call a recovery. And so that's, again, what is continuing to make Puni look like such a stud, man. And it helps Brock because the fact that he didn't get completely bowled over was a big reason why what's his name? Brock was able to get out in space and create with his legs. What do we got here? A little check down. You notice how all these little check down passes came back since Christian McCaffrey came back? These are non-existent with Jordan Mason and Isaac Guerrero, but CMC comes back and we're like, oh, let's pass the ball to the running back, which I don't blame him at all. It's just interesting how CMC opens up that element of the offense. This play was one of my favorites. I tweeted this out yesterday while I was on the plane, but you're going to see first, let's do Dominic Puni. What a stud. David wants to shoot the A gap, that's fine. Shoves him right in, like literally places David into Brendle. Says, "Here you go. Take him and I'm going to take him." Just textbook. Take him, I got him. All right. So they are able to scheme up a free rusher. First of all, again, awareness from Brock, being able to fade the free rusher and then throw a dot with anticipation. Dot. Dot. And you can see the ball's coming out before Debo's even out of his break. That ball's gone. And it is a perfect pass. So it's beautiful. Really is. It's not beautiful that the 49ers are constantly dealing with free rushers. I don't love that part of it. But considering what it is and having to throw this with anticipation while not getting hit, I like that. I like that quite a bit. What are we going to next? Puni versus Vita. Love this one. Again, two big dogs battling. And the fact that Vita couldn't get off this block to get CMC is great. Shout out to Vita. Watch him get skinny. You see that? That really kind of stops Puni from being able to get his head across. So that's a great veteran move by the defensive tackle. And that keeps them kind of in phase like that. But credit to Puni, Vita isn't able to disengage and really be able to get down the line and isn't able to make the play. So solid. Good job here by Trent and Banks. Yeah, Brendle definitely struggled this game. I thought Brendle has played better over the last couple weeks, but this one he kind of struggled in this one. And then that's going to set us up for some Kittle yackage. Oh, we got more. Which one's this? 35. So this one, Puni passes David off to Brendle, but Brendle isn't prepared. And so when Puni goes to pick up the looper, it leaves David, unfortunately, because Brendle is all messed up. But credit to Brock to be able to get that ball off. I mean, look at how close David was to hitting this. Yeah, Brendel struggled this game. So I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. But I imagine he'll continue to start. But it will be interesting to uh see if they do activate Feliciano, and if they do activate Feliciano, what their plan is for Feliciano. Let's see. Kittle, Yak. Let's get to the Kittle. Kittle Yakage. Is this Kittle Yakage? Yeah. I love the play design. Can we get more of these kinds of play designs? Like the misdirections and the I feel like those haven't been as prevalent this year. I don't know if there's any data to back that up, but it just feels like, fake toss, you know, little boo action. What is this? What is this? Y leak? Is this leak? I don't know. I don't know the names of anything. Looks like Y leak, but I have no idea. And then Kittle just watch him level Antoine Winfield too. Antoine Winfield gets decked. I love Kittle, man. I love how he's constantly searching for contact. He says, "Get off me." I mean, look at this image. Bodies in the background, 3 guys, 4 guys trying to take him down. God, I love Kittle, man. Oh, that was intentional. Kittle for sure invited that contact. And I don't think Winfield was ready for it. Winfield thought he was the one who's going to be creating the contact, not the other way around. And Kittle said, "How you doing?" Boink. He's not ready. Oh, I love it. Look at Kittle. Yep, you see it right there, the dip. Boink, bink, bink. Honestly, Winfield didn't do a whole lot in this one. Oh, here we go. This play is crazy. I don't know. I don't know what happened here. You had a miscommunication. Based on what Trent is doing, is he's thinking that Banks is going with him, but I don't know if because it looks like Banks is doing what he's supposed to do. So I don't know, some kind of bust here, but credit to Brock, man, to be able to identify it and then just know where CMC is supposed to be and then just put the ball out there for him to get it. And he gets rocked. Absolutely rocked. And just delivers a dime. That's that's a crazy play. And this is the worst possible bust you could have because it's interior pressure. Just a crazy, crazy throw. Crazy throw. Let's go to Ooh, let's do a little touchdown, shall we? First of all, why isn't this in my notes? How do I not have the touchdown logged? What a rookie. Let's watch the touchdown. What a dime. On the move, flips the hips, defender in his face. Only where literally perfect pass. Perfect pass. And Kittle with the little toe drag swag. That's beautiful. That's Purdy. That's pretty nice. Debo making a big play here. Brock making a big play. I mean, that is not an easy throw, man. He literally like jumped off McKivitt's back and threw this. That's crazy. Now, this was a good pickup by Brendle. This was a good pickup by Brendle to keep his head up and watch for the looper. But that's crazy throw. And then that led to a missed field goal. We know what happened after that. This was scary. This one was close. Just gets the hand right on the ball. What I was scared about most was Brock getting hit on this one when Jawan goes for the ball too, and his arm